What's the deal with gluten? What even is gluten? Do you love pizza and bagels, muffins, sourdough? But do you feel depleted and sluggish, or heartburn, or inflammation, gut problems, skin problems after eating bread? You're not alone. Not all gluten is the same, though. I'm Drew Speroni, owner of Early Bird Farm and Mill, and my passion lies in producing organic, nutrient-dense foods and whole grain, stone-milled baking flours. And I want to tell you why our fresh milled flour is probably the only gluten you should be eating. So once you learn from me why all gluten is not the same, you can share it with your family and friends. Early Bird Farm, hashtag whole grains, and share your experience with gluten and with whole grains from Early Bird in the comments below. So most baked goods, cereals, processed foods, even pasta is often made with white flour. And white flour is why gluten gets a bad rap. Gluten is the name given to the proteins that are found in wheat and rye and barley. And gluten is what gives bread a good rise. It's what gives its light, fluffy texture. Think pizza or donuts or bagels or even sourdough. But that's not all there is to wheat. In fact, there are three parts to the wheat. And there's the bran, the germ, and the endosperm. And most breads are made with white flour, which is highly processed and contains just the endosperm. And this is the part of the wheat where all the gluten is. It's the proteins that give bread the light, fluffy texture. And it's often bred to contain high amounts of this protein so that large bread manufacturers can produce bread quickly and efficiently and ensure that bread has the texture, the Wonder Bread texture that most of us are used to and have become accustomed to, and also so that bread has a long shelf life. However, this soft, fluffy bread made from white flour is very hard for our bodies to digest, and it leaves us feeling sluggish, depleted, even with gut problems, inflammation, even things like, or worse. In fact, studies have shown that eating these kinds of breads on a regular basis can lead to things like obesity, hypertension, cancers, heart disease, and even type 2 diabetes. And so one of my favorite places to go is the farmer's market. I love the people, I love the atmosphere, and I love sharing with people what we do and why we do it. Explaining to people what is organic, what is regenerative, what are all these things, that why does it matter that we buy local? Why does it matter that we buy fresh? What are whole grains? And oftentimes I get the question, do you have gluten-free flour? And I will often ask them, are you celiac? Are you allergic to wheat? Because if you're allergic to wheat, you shouldn't eat our flour. But if you're not allergic to wheat, asking if something is gluten-free might be the wrong question. And so I'll explain to them what I'm about to explain to you. And oftentimes they'll go home with our fresh milled flours, and they'll come back a couple weeks later, a month later, and oftentimes in tears, saying, I'm so grateful, thank you so much, I can eat bread again, my family can eat bread again, we're grateful, we love this. And they're customers for life. And so when you eat food prepared with Early Bird flour, it is a whole and complete food. Our stone ground fresh milled flours have all the parts of the wheat, the bran, the germ, and the endosperm. And so this matters because the bran and the germ have enzymes and insoluble fibers which help us to break down the bread in our bodies and transform it into quality energy, which will sustain our body for long periods of time, as well as having B vitamins, trace minerals, antioxidants, not to mention all the flavor of whole wheat, right? The bran is what has the flavor. We've forgotten the flavor of wheat because of white flour. And so all these ingredients, they help fight disease and aid in longevity. And so now that you know the deal with gluten, I invite you to up your game in the kitchen and in your journey to health and vitality by placing your order for fresh milled whole grain flour today from Early Bird Farm, and we will prepare them just for you.